If we didn't control them, I think it'll just get way out of hand. It'll just end up being a feral dumping ground. We're at Kia Ora station. We're 72 k's southwest of Cobar. It's 17,800 hectares and we're predominantly grazing. Well, we don't actively control the pests. People don't realise, you know, a lamb's worth $80 or $90 to us, and it's like taking a day's wage off someone. So it impacts big on us that way, the foxes, and sometimes pigs will impact on that too. They will take lambs out of the mother as they're lambing. It's also the diversity of the animals, like lizards and little bilbies and a variety of birds they eat. So yeah, the fox has a big, wide impact on the whole environment, really, across the board. And pigs are very similar too, because they'll do the same sort of thing with the native animals. A lot of it's just really visual. We go out spotlighting and you just see what are out there, foxes mainly. If you start seeing quite a few foxes, and we're starting to see a lot at the moment during the daytime, we've got a pretty good problem with foxes. For foxes, we bait with 1080 baits fairly heavily, probably 2 to 3 times a year. Mainly in the area we're lambing down in, we don't do the whole property. Also a bit of spotlighting and shooting with rifles. Probably 3 times a year. One's around mating, which is in May, June, when the foxes are out looking for a female. And then we do it probably around September, October again when the litter's coming out. And then we might do a bait in February. Pigs is nearly all year round, controlling them. The main visual of pigs in this country, you don't see many, but you see their evidence where they've been ripping up the ground and looking for food. Every time it rains, we're seeing a lot of ground disturbance. I've got professional blokes that come up here and hunt the pigs, humane way of doing it, and shooting and trapping and baiting. So we're using a combination a lot, which is working pretty good. They're probably the worst disease spreaders, because if we get foot and mouth into Australia, the pigs would just spread it right through. Oh, it'd wipe out the meat industry. It'd wipe out the livestock. Rabbits, in my book, are a problem, but they're another tool that we can use. They do eat a bit of woody weed. If there's a rabbit population around, the foxes aren't chasing our lambs, they're chasing rabbits. So yeah, but we do try and control rabbits through ripping and that too. The goats, they are a grazing pressure, but we are managing them by moving them off to market, by trapping them or mustering them up with gyrocopters or whatever and moving them out. So we're still moving those pest animals on, yes. They do have an impact on our grazing pressure for sure. Yeah, look, if the feral animals have free run, it would be no good even trying to run it as a national park, because they'd take all the species we're trying to save. As our income is, at the moment we're running around 100% to 130% lambing. When we first come here, we didn't realise we had a big problem in feral animals, foxes and pigs, and our lambing was about 80%. So that's like telling someone to lose 40% of your income for the year. That's how big an impact it is on our industry, well and truly. So it is a big impact, but we're trying to keep on top of it, but there's neighbours or properties that have got absentee people on that aren't doing it. So we're getting the flow over onto our place all the time, so we've just got to keep at it. We have tried getting our neighbours involved through a massive property baiting system, and that's through us supplying a fair share of the raw meat, and then they inject the chemical into them and we go and lay the baits on our property. But once again, there's still properties that just won't participate in it, so it makes it very hard for the ones that are trying to get on top of the feral animals. Well, the last words is I'd really like a lot of landholders that are out there that just be vigilant of the pests that are out there and the impact they can do to your income. I know people, most of them realise what they can do, and we all got to work together for baiting programs. You know, it's got to be a big widespread baiting program, not just a few handful here and there doing it. But yeah, just be vigilant of what's out there and what's making an impact on your income and your environment and your pastures, and just keep a good eye on it.